Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engage. Engage. Hello, people. Yes, it's me again, believe it or not. Here I am with you because I love you. I do. It's true. How we doing out there on a, what's today? Today's Thursday already, right? I love it how the week goes by kind of quickly when you have that holiday on a Monday. It's really nice. But unfortunately, this happens to be the busy time of year a little bit for my day job. So it's been dragging out. I'm trying to avoid these people. I'm trying to avoid these damn people so they leave me alone. I don't want to do anything. Can you just send me the check? Can you just send me the check? And we all just leave each other alone. It's fine. Nothing's really getting done anyway. It's all bullshit work. Heyo. Waste of taxpayer dollars. I am the personification of the waste of your taxpayer dollars, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. So if you don't particularly despise me for what I do here on YouTube, you can despise me for that. But don't worry, I'm working on making that trip a short-lived one anyway. But that's a whole nother story. We're not here to talk about that, are we? Hi, I'm Pete Palma, and I am your user-friendly host here on Operation Status Quo, broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home here in an undisclosed location in beautiful Florida. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Operation Status Quo. Of course, if you're new here, hello. Thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Pull up a chair, hang out. Let's have some fun, and get to know each other a little bit, right? That's what it's all about. Here on Operation Status Quo, we learn to, we don't learn to, we observe the status quo of life. We observe the status quo of life, and then we learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. What are you doing today to create your own flow of quo, huh? Drop it in the comments and let me know, because I'm so curious, what kind of things you do in your day-to-day to mitigate the circumstances of all the nonsense that's going on in the world and, step away from giving your power to the matrix and the system that's designed to keep us down and stupid and, unhappy. But you don't have to be unhappy because you can choose to be happy. That's the point of Operation Status Quo, because we're observing the fact that they want to keep us down, and they can't. They can't, because we have the beautiful spirit within ourselves, and all we have to do is be open to that and go inside and be with the flow of life, as it were, and really beautiful, amazing things can happen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so anyway, here today on Operation Status Quo, it is the 7th of April. 7th of April. What am I? Just went back in time, I guess. It is the 7th of September. Hello, April, May, June, July, August, September. What am I doing? 5 months past. Anyway. It's the 7th of September in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled The Weird Are Feared. Yes, indeed. I thought about this because I've personally been called weird. I mean, I can really remember even back to my grammar school days. I mean, as long as I can remember, I pretty much have been told that, you're weird and what's your problem and all that type of stuff. And quite honestly, I never did fit in per se with normal, groups, like business and all that. Even when I worked my last job in Philadelphia in the office, I never really people liked me. I got along and stuff, but I never fit in. I think I was never one of the people, right? But, never in the clique per se, because I'm more like the guy. You would find me like in the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing, the land of misfit toys. That's what I am. I'm like a Jack in a box that's a Bob in the box instead of Jack, or, a train that has square wheels, so I never did fit in. I noticed it even I enjoy, some of you may or may not know, I have that information listed in the description box below, but I am a licensed realtor here in Florida. So of course, if I can ever help you, it's not something I promote so much on the show, because this show is not about an advertisement for that. But if you get to know me through the show and you think that I'm competent enough to handle some affairs like that for you, I'd be happy, more than happy to do so, because I am actually fairly competent, mostly. But anyway, So yeah, and even with that group, like everybody's really nice, and I get along with everybody, and they're nice people. But like, it's just like it's so business oriented, and there's so some people, they're just so worldly, and like I'm kind of always looking past the world, and like all this stuff down here that we're doing is like blah, But everybody's like really geared into sales and profits and marketing and all that stuff, and I don't know. I just want to be a person in this world. I just want to connect connect with people and be able to put a smile on someone's face. Of course, we all have to make a living. So, if I could ever, help people in the real estate world, I'm happy to do so, but I understand. I really do. I understand that, it is what it is. And the business world, I always said business and religion were basically pseudo intellectual ventures. People like to sit and just pontificate about charts and graphs of business and indexes and margins and whatever, and all this crap. It's just like, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, none of that stuff makes any sense to me, especially the stuff I study, that I've learned studying the real estate. And when they teach about all the loans and the different types of loans and how things are calculated, and man, you really see how F this system is. I mean, it's just so over the top, like confusing, and move. This company buys these loans out and puts them over here, and they sell them to these so they can get more fake money to give people more crap and lend out more and charge more interest. And it's just, oh my God, it's really insanity. Like, shouldn't just everything be this for that? Is it really that complicated? Even this interest and all this stuff, like, shouldn't even need to lend money. Things should just be at affordable prices to begin with. I don't know. I'm not going down that path because today's show is The Weird Are Feared. And yes, I've felt weird in my life. Have you felt weird in your life? Have people ever called you weird? I mean, do you relate to me what I'm saying, or do I just seem weird to you? But either way, I have some information here that we're going to just go through quickly because we like to have fun here on Operation Status Quo. As I say, we don't always have to be. I mean, I speak seriously a lot of times, as far as, hey, let's empower ourselves, and I believe all that, of course. But we also have to laugh. I think laughter is really just like the best thing. And as I was speaking on yesterday, like not taking things so seriously and not getting attached to, the world so much, not and all these rules and all this so much. I feel you know what I mean? So I'd rather have some fun and laugh. You got to be serious. I don't mean it like just, be careless. I mean, yeah, you pay attention, you do what you have to do. But other than that, you just kind of skip to the loo, my darling, and have a good time, right? So, okay, so I got some signs here that you may be weird. It says here that you are the weird friend, but weird in general. So, when you're in your social groups, tell me, and please, your comments and participation are more than encouraged. They are appreciated as well. Let me know what you think here. But basically it says this. It starts off with this. You often find yourself laughing at your own jokes more than your friends do. And, I'm always laughing. It's like I'm laughing now, and I didn't even tell a joke. So, I have found that I'll start like telling quirky stories. Generally, people do laugh at a lot of things I say. I will say that. I thank God I have a pretty good sense of humor. I'm able to, kind of see situations and make little quips. That's what I say. That's when I work with people. It's like, I'm not really here to do the actual production of this job. I'm here to hang out with you guys while you do the job, and I make little quips that make you laugh. And then you're able to do your job without as much stress. Like, that's what I'd like to be, like kind of like a, you have the person that warms up the audience for the late night host, that comes out and talks to the audience before Jay Leno or one of the big names back in the day, whatever, before they come out on stage, somebody warms up the audience. That's what I'm like, the audience warmer, I'd like to walk around the office and go cubicle by cubicle and go, how you doing today? How's your wife? How's your husband? How's your kids? And and tell a couple little funny stories, make them laugh, and they go, okay, I'm not going to kill myself today. I'll go back to work. That's the kind of productivity that I can offer to a workspace. So you find that you're laughing at your own jokes more than your friends do. And because of this, you've experienced plenty of awkward silences after making a joke in your group. Have you experienced awkward silences? I mean, I experienced a lot of awkward stares. That's for sure. All right. Before being introduced to new friends or family, you've been told just be normal. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this in my life, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. It's just like, really my family would say to me all the time when we would go places, they go, listen, my grandpa would go, listen, don't embarrass me, okay? Do me a favor. Keep your mouth shut. Don't embarrass me. I don't know. I'm just trying to make friends with people. Why am I such a jerk? But anyway, I did get a lot of that. when I was younger, for sure. And quite honestly, you're not really sure what being normal even entails, right? They're asking you to be normal. What is normal, right? I mean, and whatever it is that is normal, I know that I don't want to be it, and I would think that you wouldn't want to be it too. Because why do you want to just be normal? And the truth is, there really is no normal. They try to box us into this idea that's normal to make us all like humanoid bots, basically just doing whatever, like robots, just doing whatever the criteria is set forth in the social norms, but there is no norm. There is no norm. There's a realm. Like, you're not going to go to somebody's house and go to the bathroom on their coffee table or something, right? I mean, that's kind of rude. That's not normal. That's not being weird. That's a mental problem. That's a whole nother show that I'll have to do. The difference between being a little bit eccentric, weird, and actually having some serious, confusing mental problems. Okay. So, what else we got here? Plus, when you're trying to be normal, you just see plenty of opportunities to be exactly the opposite. And I will have to say that's true, because I'm that way myself. When I feel like, especially somebody says, don't do this or don't do that, I'm like, oh, looks like the challenge is on. And, but anyway, I don't want to purposely, cause any problems. But at the same time, it's really hard to, fit into what they tell you you're supposed to do. And by the way, if I'm buffering a little bit out there, I'm noticing that my stream is a little, it just turned back to green. So if I'm buffering out there, hopefully, what I find nice about this overall is like when I do have a little bit of an internet connection. I'm having some internet problems here overall today at the house. I notice. I think it's a bad technology day. But anyway. If you're just listening, I notice that the voice doesn't tend to have a problem. It's more the video will be a little bit clippy. You know how it goes when it's buffering and doesn't get the messages as quickly as it should. All right, just like my brain, I don't get the messages as quickly as I would like to get them. It would make my life a lot easier if my brain would communicate with my body and my essence, more uniformly. And I think maybe things would come across in a nicer way. Okay, here we go. You're all too familiar with that. What the hell are you doing expression, from your friends or family. I would get that. I mean, I definitely would get a lot of, the reason I'm saying this is because, it applies so much to my life. It's like, not all the time. I mean, I'm saying this half tongue in cheek, in general, yeah, it's still that way, because I can't help but be myself and be authentic, when I talk to people. And even when I go in places that are more of the worldly realm, like saying, like with the real estate group, if I was to be at an event with them and have conversation, I notice I speak, I always speak on these more esoteric, levels of forget about the physical and all this kind of stuff. And I can just tell, they look like, little deer in headlights, as I'm saying that kind of stuff. I remember talking to one guy there one time, just saying about how it's not all about money. And, I really want to, if I do this business, I really want it to be about me trying to help people and, doing it in an honest, sincere way where I don't feel like I'm just being some salesman trying to get business. And the guy's listening to me, he's nodding, he's smiling, he goes, I just like money. He goes, I just like money. And I was just thinking, well, I mean, how am I going to relate to that? It is what it is. And I understand people like money. I get it, because that's how we're, trained and all that type of thing. So, people want to have money, nice cars. They want to get their teeth whitened. You know what I mean? They want to get the boob implants, pec implants, ass implants, all that kind of crap, and just fit in with what society tells them to do instead of just being your authentic, natural self. And that's what this is all about, and I think it's a blessing if you are on the side of being weird, quote unquote, and some of this stuff I'm talking about. It's a blessing. Yeah, let me give a round of applause because it's a compliment. Yeah, it is. Oh, I forgot to put on my weird. I had the hat for the weird. Let me put on my. Yeah, there we go. Whoop. The headphones makes it a little difficult. Heyo. But since we're being weird, hey kids, let's be a little bit weird. Does this thing even spin a little bit? If I can get it to spin enough, I can fly right out of this chair, right? I didn't even realize I matched my shirt with this. I didn't even plan to do that. Here we go. Let's make it look like that. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's see here. So I had said when they say, "What the hell are you doing?" Your friends and family may say, "What the hell are you doing?" And your answer might be, "Honestly, I'm not too sure. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here trying to be myself, having a good time. And you guys got a problem with me. What is the problem? Why am I weird? Maybe you're weird. You ever think that maybe the other people are weird? The people that call you weird are really the weird ones, right? Because you have to be pretty weird to be trying to call somebody a weird person, right? Because that's that's placing judgment. And we know here, especially in Operation Status Quo, that we've learned not to place judgment, on anything, and not to judge and to just live and let live type thing and let everybody be who they got to be. But of course, we have to set our boundaries when we're in situations that are not authentic or not in our best interest. We set our boundaries, but it doesn't mean we judge. We just realize and we move forward. Okay? Got to try to share some of those messages that I always share, even while we're having a little bit of fun here, right? Okie dokie. Let's see. You can remember very specific instances in which you embarrassed your friends. Yes, my friends, my family, definitely. That's what my grandfather always said. Don't embarrass me, because he was getting embarrassed all the time. It was always funny though with him. What the hell's the matter with you? He would say that too. What the hell's the matter with you? Are you some kind of nut? That was always the best. You were always the one ruining the squad photo. So I guess if you have to take a group photo with whoever, you're the one that's going like, yeah, or boo, or whatever the hell you're doing over there. To try to be funny. I don't do that really anymore. I did used to always kind of be a little, for the lack of a better term, flamboyant in the pictures. But I try just to do a nice smile now. I just want to be, courteous to the rest of the group, and I don't want to make them upset. Sometimes you feel like you have to rein yourself in as to not disturb the peace. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, goes without saying. I definitely have to rein myself in, not to disturb the peace, because sometimes I'm always like, don't say it. No, don't say it. But, yeah, no. Okay, so I got to do that because I do realize, unfortunately, that sometimes people aren't going to resonate with the ideas that I'm trying to express. Again, even some of my family, when I talk about, especially the stuff like with Q and like what's really happening in the world and the human trafficking and all that stuff that I try to say these are the truths, and I talk about our economy is about to collapse and change, and they just all kind of like, ooh. He's a real nut, this one. He's a real nut job, Okay, all right. Well, you guys give me a call in a little while when everything starts shaking out, all right? Your friends have received a multitude of bizarre texts from you. I can't say that. I don't really do weird texts per se. I'll have a little fun. I'll make jokes sometimes. But, really, the text thing for me really depends on the person, because if somebody doesn't know me well enough, I'm very careful in my texting because, it's hard to interpret a text as much as, if I'm talking to somebody, I can have a little more fun and say things in a different way. But in a text, it's like, they might not read that the right way, right? All right. So you're not entirely sure, but none of them come to you for relationship advice. I wouldn't know. No, this I will disagree with this one overall. And I'm not even going to say relationship advice, but just advice in general. I do find that people like to talk to me, and I really don't mind listening. Like I'm happy to listen to people if they have something going on and they want to discuss. I'm open. I'm not judging. So people can tell me their issues. I don't go around going, oh, what so and so said, and like I really don't. I'm just like, oh, this person's feeling something, they want to express it, and I'm happy to listen and see if we can, well, it really doesn't matter, because I've had plenty of friends that go on and tell me the same story 60 times about whatever it's their spouse or their kids or their job or their this or their that, and they keep complaining, but they don't do anything. So that's another point about setting your boundaries. It's like, I'm all about listening and encouraging somebody, but at the same time, like if you're not putting, the individual's not putting in the effort to actually, because sometimes I'll talk to people and it really makes sense what I'm saying, and then they just keep doing the same shit that they were doing before. So I don't understand why you keep asking me the same question. You know what I'm going to say? I said it already. So either you're going to shit or get off the pot. Like, I don't know what to tell you, So, but I am very open and I am very compassionate. Does that sound compassionate? I'm not really sure, but I am compassionate. I can assure you of that. Excuse me, but see, when they need help scaring people off, they head straight your way. So they don't want to ask you for advice, but if they want to scare somebody away, they come to you. I'm not sure about that per se either. Although there was one time where my grandmother had a repairman come for, I don't know if it was for the washing machine, the dishwasher or the washing machine, something like that. Long story short, the guy owed her like $100 and said he was going to be back, and then he wasn't coming around. And, I wound up calling the guy. I was like, yeah, this is Pete. I'm Gene's grandson. I said, Yeah, I mean, you dropping off that money, or you want me to come up there and see you myself, or how you want to work it out? guy came the next day. So that's because I'm Italian, and people get nervous. That's why I always carry a bag of concrete with me, because I can just open the trunk and say, listen, I'm Italian. I got concrete in the car. Are we going to work this out, or we have to go another way? Let me know. Otherwise, we're going to have to go that other way. I don't want to do it. Remember in Breaking Bad when Walt with the guy after they shot up Hank and everything, and he's like, I got to know you're okay. Otherwise, we're going to have to go that other way. So can you imagine dealing with that mindset? All right, let's see. Sometimes all your friends are bonding over a thing and you have nothing to contribute because you're not on the same wavelength. Well, yeah. And just to speak to that quickly, the truth is, like, if you are, it says your friends, but if you're with people that think you're weird and you're with people that you're not on the same wavelength, maybe these people aren't your friends. I mean, even your family, no disrespect to family, but, if someone's not in your groove, what's the purpose, right? What's the purpose of spending time just to say they're friends? I mean, how much of a friend are they if they think you're weird and you're not on the same wavelength, right? You're not really friends, I guess, then. All right, let's see, which usually means you make side comments to entertain yourself. This is true in one regard, though, because I used to do that a lot. Back in my radio days, I loved working in radio, and the group I worked with, they're great people, and some of them I'm still really close with as friends. And this is going way back into the 90s, but some of them were, they were, I don't want to say geeks, but they were like radio geeks. Like, they knew all the one guy was like an engineer. He knew all about the wattage and the transmission signals. He would talk about all that kind of stuff. And the other people mostly were into their music, because I was just doing a talk. I was basically doing what I'm doing right here, just with some extra stuff, So I was just talking and all that kind of thing and doing comedy bits and blah, blah, blah. So, I would just wanted to have fun, but they're out there talking about the deep tracks of the music and how many watts the station is and the coverage. And I'd be like, pulling my eyes out. And I always have to make, other little side comments and jokes because I'm trying to think, well, there's got to be some way for me to get into this conversation, right? So, but thank God they were gracious overall. We got along, so it wasn't like off-putting per se, but those kind of conversations were just a little boring to me. All right, let's see here. You have no problem with wandering off and doing your own thing. That's true. I do that. I could be with a group of people and then just kind of wander off and see what else is going on out there. Well, now I don't agree with this one. This one says you love Twitter. I have a Twitter account that I never use. Was never interested in Twitter, really. Sometimes I think I should use it a little bit to maybe promote my show in another forum, but I'm not really into Twitter. So maybe I'm not as weird as I think. How about that? That's pretty good news. Let's see. You make meme references or obscure movie quotes in regular conversation. Now, this I do. In regular conversation, I'll just throw some kind of movie quote, like somebody says something. A good example is Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Yeah, do you remember that one? Okay. And who else was in that? What's his name? Oh my God, I can't believe his name is slipping my mind. He passed away. But anyway, Danny Glover was the main guy in Predator 2, and he goes and talks to the witch doctor guy, who's like one of the gangsters on the street, and it's like he throws the bones down on the trash can. He goes, always the same. But what is it that somebody says when somebody says, oh my God, I can't believe the word now. The word just slipped my mind, but there's a word that he uses in that movie quote. And every time I hear that word, it triggers my brain. And that's exactly what I think of. And I go like I'm doing that scene, always the same. And nobody has any idea what I'm talking about. So I'm making some reference to some movie that's like even Men at Work. Remember Men at Work with Charlie Sheen and stuff and Emilio Estevez, like and the black guy with the BB gun, the guy comes and delivers the pizza, and the guy's like, "You seen too much." I always go, "You seen too much," and nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. All right, let's see here. You own various items of clothing or accessories that your friends would never be caught dead in. That's not too much for me because I'm pretty much simple in that regard. Let's see, what else? When your friends finally say, who wants to get weird tonight? You're ready. They're just trying to be funny here. I don't like that. Here's the last one. Let's just say, because no matter how strange you are, your friends love you for it, and they know they can always count on you to make life a fun ride. So there you go. Oh, look, I got a spam call coming in. It says it right here. Can you see it? What's it say? Potential spam. Should we answer it? No, I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to answer it. We're going to hang up on them. That's it. No spam here. No spam here on Operation Status Quo. I'm tired of these damn spam calls. Yeah.
Heyo.
So anyway, how weird are you? What did you think of the list? Drop some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what's on your mind out there. I love you guys. You know I do. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here as a man of the people to bring you some joy and smiles in your life whenever I can. So thanks again for being here. If you haven't done so already, and maybe even if it's just a smidge of you resonates just a tad with anything I do, please take the time to like, subscribe, share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. God bless each and every one of you. I love you individually as well as a group. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.